Morning, folks. Welcome to the Joey Show. I'm Joey Avery. What an exciting program we have for you today, folks. This is episode 50. Can you imagine? 50 weeks of the Joey Show. That's almost a year if you're keeping track at home. So I do want to start right now by saying thank you. Every last one of you, every member of the 12. We are growing stronger and mightier by the day. I am meeting you out on the road. We had a lovely 12 member out in Minneapolis coming sporting the merch. Dedicated fans. Seriously, I don't take any of it for granted. I love you guys. This is episode 50, which does mean you only care about this if you're on YouTube. If it's Spotify, Apple Podcasts, wherever, it stays the same. This is the last episode that will be on the Joey Avery YouTube channel. After this, we're moving over to a Joey Show podcast channel, so make sure you subscribe to that so you don't miss the most important news and This is the most important show, I would say, probably on planet Earth. If you think about it, I would say news show, but it's not a news show. I'd say comedy, but it's not comedy. It's just the most important show on the planet. So thank you for being here and making this such a wonderful, lovely ride. We have a very special and fun show for you on episode 50. Yes, the Super Bowl is coming up. Do we have some can't miss gambling pick? Yeah, we have it. We have some fun things, but I don't really know what would be a more appropriate place to start today than the return of our sweet Prince Ye. Yes. The artist formerly known as Kanye, who is now, of course, just Ye, has made some waves this week by going to the Grammys with his wife in an outfit that some would say was her naked. Some people are saying that was her naked. Now, this is not all that Kanye has been up to this week. He's been on Twitter, okay? He dropped a bunch of clothes, $20 clothes on Yeezy. So if you're in the market for some basics, he has a large tranche of basics for you. If you're in the market for some kind of apocalyptic Yeezy wear, that's all there. My main question with all of this, and far be it for me to, I don't want to yuck anyone's yum. I never do. I never have. I think that this program is nothing if not a sex-positive program. We've always believed, hey, you sick little creep. Whatever gets you to the watering hole, brother, as long as you're being nice and consensual and everyone's having a good time. And I think Kanye's wife seems to be enjoying the sort of spectacle and the place that she has taken up in our overall zeitgeist as a voluptuous naked woman that we're all getting to look at. I guess for me, it's just kind of interesting given that Kanye has kids and just imagining, divorce can be hard on children of that age, and sometimes it's unique when a stepmom enters the picture, and there's certainly, if you're going by the cultural zeitgeist that is brought to us by such artistic outposts such as, think of like a Pornhub or think of these sorts of websites, and the type of content, the type of films that they churn out, there is a large, I would say a significant contribution to American cinema that is based around the step something, right? The step mother, step sister, step brother, all sorts of, we are obsessed with the steppe. We are like the early Mongolian hordes who lived on the steppe, except we apparently crank to it. Now, I've never had a steppe in my life, so I don't know if this is a real thing people if this is I've never really been much for fantasy. I'm more of a documentary guy, so I don't really engage in consuming these sorts of films. But as you think about the importance of the archetype of the step to American nude cinema, it strikes me as odd that Kanye is parading around his young children's stepmother literally fucking naked for the entire world to see. Is that going to employ a therapist for a large amount of time, I would say yes, and then we support that. Whatever sort of help you need, of course, whatever help you need, meaning yes, potentially mental, or also if you're caught in the fucking dryer, stepmom. Look, Kanye is doing what he likes to do, and he's gaining attention, and we are giving it to him. Now, when I saw this, I was like, hey, that lady is naked. That was my general first thought, was that is a naked lady right there. And usually when I see that, I go, oh, well then. And this was similar. This did cause a lot of consternation online, a lot of different takes, people saying they got kicked out of the Grammys, Kanye saying they didn't. I don't really know. But I kind of thought, when I saw this, I said, wow, that's a naked woman. But then I have to ask myself, am I the fool here? Do I just not understand fashion? So I brought in a fashion correspondent who is going to help us maybe understand a little bit more about the fashion that's going on here with Kanye and his wife, Bianca Censori. Let's toss it to that reporter now. Thank you, Joey. Really frustrating week because it's very clear that none of you fucking dumb nincompoop ass bitches know shit all about fashion. Everyone's talking about Bianca's dress at the Grammys saying, oh my God, she was naked. Oh my God, she was naked. Oh my God. It looks like she and Kanye clearly have some sort of obvious cuck fetish where they want the entire world to behold her naked, and they get off on that sort of thing because they are kind of sick fucks and this is the world that they're in. And to that I'd say, bitch, do you not know what a nipple and pussy dress is? Seriously, you are clowning yourself if you're going to sit here pretending like you don't know what a nipple and pussy dress shows. You've never worn a nipple and pussy dress to work, and it's fucking painfully obvious, so shut your stupid, uncultured mouth. Or put on a nipple and pussy dress and see what it feels like. Get it together, bitch. Everyone is bringing up old photos of Bianca before she met Kanye, like, oh my God, she was so hot. Oh my God, look how hot and healthy and hot she was. Yeah, if you don't understand fucking fashion, you dumb, uncivilized, nincompoop ass bitches. Fashion is not about looking classically hot or healthy or beautiful or like that girl that you'd want to see from across the bar and go talk to. No, you silly, dumb bitches. Fashion is about looking hot after the apocalypse. You want to look hot like the war for oil has ripped the entire world apart and you were just given a nice looking dress from the third strongest warlord in New Pangaea. And that's what she has been doing. Look at this photo of her and Kanye. This is fashion. Some people would look at it and be like, ew, that's weird. What is he wearing? Tights and shoulder pads? He looks odd. Yeah, you dumb bitch. He looks like the starting linebacker for the world's last Shakespeare company after the final war for oil. And Bianca here is dressed like an uncircumcised penis during its last phase of frostbite before being chopped off by the third strongest warlord in New Pangaea. That's fashion. Fashion is about looking hot after the dystopia. I don't want you to look healthy like you've been taking vitamins. I want you to look healthy like you've been eating rats and fighting people in the subway. That's hot. You idiots simply don't understand fashion, and it shows. And if you don't get it together, you're never going to be given a dress from the third strongest warlord in New Pangaea. Get it together, respect the queen, put on a nipple and pussy dress, or shut your fucking mouth. Bye, bitches. So there you go. Kanye is back. He's doing his things. As we mentioned, he's dropped clothing on Yeezy. He's dropped the item that Bianca is wearing or something near to that. So if you want to get that, if you're into that, you can have it. I went on the website. I looked. Doesn't appear to be multiple size options. So you better come with the milk. You better come with the milk and the dumpy if you want to be able to rock that. But hey, he's back. Kanye is back on X. He's going to be doing things. And that will be interesting. He's got a tweet here that says, fuck reading and anyone who can do it. So stirring the pot, being he's really entered a space that I respect although I also despise. But he's entered a space where he has decided that everything he does or says is art. And once you are using everything you say or do as art, it frees you of responsibility from any of it being good, bad, or having negative impacts. Now, I don't necessarily subscribe to that being a true way of thinking and moving throughout the world, but holy shit, is it awesome if you can get there. Like, that's the level that I would love to get in my career, where it's just you put something out and it sucks and you're like, dude, but you don't understand the art. And if you don't get it, it's just because you're a fucking idiot. Now, has he created enough stuff that he is allowed to call himself a genius? Yes. But once you call yourself a genius, the probability that you continue creating genius works at a solid clip, I personally believe, goes down, because I do think that a little bit of self-doubt allows your editing process, and I'm not sure there's a lot of editing going on in the realm of Kanye at this time. That being said, I am talking about it, so yes, you win, Kanye. Congratulations. We can stay in the world of fashion. I saw, this is great. He's a Louis Vuitton guy, LVMH, whatever the main company is that does all these fashion brands. Bernard Arnault has created a new phrase, and I like this. This is what fashion does. Fashion takes the old and it makes it new again. It takes something that was existing, it changes how you look at it. It shapes how you see the world. And what he has done is he's started firing people. Yes. And he has, instead of saying that he fired them, he is saying that they were outwardly promoted. That is the essence of fashion. I believe it was the great Derek Zoolander who once said, water is the essence of moisture, and moisture is the essence of wetness. Something like that. You get the point. Okay? It's not about the reality of what is happening. It's about the vibe of how it's said. Nothing is real. It's all branding. So why doesn't he brand this awesome opportunity for all these people who lost their jobs to say, hey, you ingrateful fucking twat, you've been promoted to the world. What do you want to be, stuck at this company making a predictable normal wage? Get the fuck out of here and enjoy your promotion as a citizen of planet Earth. You're welcome. You are, well, I think we should do this in all manners of life. People say that divorce is such an ugly word. Why do people use that? Kanye and Kim, they got divorced. Yuck, it sounds bad. It sounds bad. How about their love transcended to other people? Wow. Now we're really cooking. This is fashion. Branding is everything. I had an interesting conversation. I was at a bar here in New York, a nice bar named Ferns that is closing, sadly. But we were having a nice conversation there, and my wife asked the question to the bartender, hey, is there a well drink that you think is pretty good that I'm wasting money buying, top shelf or mid shelf or whatever I can see, and I should really just as much be drinking well? And I don't know if this guy is a genius or not, but he is the head bartender there, and he said fucking all of them. He said as long as well is not in a plastic bottle, you're pretty much fine. Because if it's in glass, chances are it's being made by one of the bigger names. Think of a Casamigos or a fucking, whatever it is you see that you're buying that's on the shelf that has branding. Casamigos has Clooney behind it. A lot of the well is that minus maybe one ingredient, but it's not actually going to make you more hungover. The taste is not going to be drastically different. There are laws that would prevent a bar from even serving anything like that. He's like, is also, unless you're drinking it straight up, if you're mixing it with anything, any good to reasonable bar will have good to reasonable well, so save your money. And I said, he's probably right, but I fucking refuse. I refuse because it feels wrong. But the point is the same. It's all branding. It's all vibe. If I did a blind taste test of alcohol, first of all, I'd vomit because alcohol tastes like shit, even though I like it. But also, I don't think I would actually know the difference. It's all branding. It's all vibe. It's all fashion. This happens everywhere in our life. It is almost very few parts of your life where you're actually knowledgeable enough to appreciate real quality. You have to know something pretty deep to know real quality. Otherwise, you're just grappling onto what you heard from this or that place and saying, I heard that was good. I heard that was this. I heard that was that. And then you're there. This happens everywhere. Politics, it's the same thing. It's the same thing. It's what is the vibe that people are getting? What have they been told? How is a politician branding himself? You look at a figure like Trump. If you get your news from a certain source, your branding is like, oh, he has come to cut government because he wants to ruin everything and cause chaos. If you get it from the other side, it's like he is the only one who can save us from the deep state government bloat. And people take that brand and they go with the brand because none of us are reading fucking legislation and white papers, and none of us barely know what these goddamn organizations do, so you can just roll based off vibe. So Bernard Arnault, you are correct. Promote people outwardly. Who gives a fuck? If there's anyone who's going to know branding, it's someone who runs a fashion empire. And I'm being positive when I say fashion empire because some people would say trafficking enterprise. I'm kidding. But was it Louis Vuitton who was on? Who was it? Oh, it was Victoria's Secret guy who was on the Epstein planes. Well, either way, I shouldn't get sued. I don't really want to. Look, fine, whatever. Do whatever your thing is. He's laying off a bunch of people because Tiffany's is in the shitter apparently. I don't know, maybe because people from my generation became adults. I feel like Tiffany's, I may have talked about this before. Tiffany's was just the big high school era, buy this for your girl, it's the only thing that works. At least that was the case in my neighborhood. Then you grew up and you go, what am I fucking buying Tiffany's for? What am I doing? I don't need to do that. And that realization caused a bunch of people to apparently get promoted outwardly. And I am happy for them. Joe Biden, of course, was promoted outwardly. And I just saw he's signed with CAA. So where the fuck? Why don't I get that call? I'm with CAA. I want Joseph Robinette Biden on this pod. Let's bring Joe on the pod. I think we'd have a nice time. Come on, my people, let's get this cooking. What else is he doing? What is Joe Biden doing at CAA? What is he going to? I've been trying to get CAA to get me a job at Burisma for some time. I didn't know how fucking connected they were. Joseph, come on the pod. I will change the name of the show to The Joe Show for that episode if you come on the pod. I'm interested to see what sort of things that he cooks up. He's got to be doing something. He's not signing with them to do nothing. He's not signing with them to start a podcast. I'm sure of that. I could see him doing something fun, though. I'm envisioning him kind of like a ASMR style TikTok live, maybe? That's very popular. People who have passed their mainstay as a cultural figure, I think TikTok live is the place. And a little Sleepy Joseph ASMR, this is a good idea. Stutter your way to sleep, dude. Count sheep with the former president. You can count up to 46. There are countless options. I really want to know what he's doing. It is incredible to me how many presidents just simply go the entertainment route after. It is like a former player starting a podcast. It's like I am done. I am done playing the game. I have insight into the game, but I'm ready to chat about it. And I want to make a little bit more money. And the president, it feels like the same thing because once you're done, you're done. You're retired. You're out. Trump's the only one who's come back. Is he going to sign with CAA? I don't think so. I think he'll just be on Fox after this. But Joe Biden is a unique opportunity, I think, in the entertainment industry. I think stand-up would be an interesting angle. I think Joe doing a little crowd work would be an interesting... I think people would see him at a comedy club. He'd probably be really fun. He seems like the type of guy who'll fuck around and like, I'll say the word. He put on the Trump hat. He's willing to do crazy shit. I feel like we just let him cook. I don't think he's going to do what Biden did, what Obama did. Obama... It's like narrating nature films or something. He made a film. Apparently, he made an action film that's not great that I saw people on Twitter losing their minds over because it had a plane crash in it, and everyone's like, see? They're trying to tell you something. If you do anything as a former left-wing president, they're like, it all leads back to this guy was for sure fucking the kid. That's what they say. It's not right. It's not good, but it is what will happen. People are like, dude, you got to wake up. He's got planes falling out of the sky. There are planes falling out of the sky. That has been a weird story, has it not? This entire FAA thing, because obviously there's a horrible tragedy. Planes fall out of the sky. A plane collides with a Black Hawk helicopter, falls into the Potomac. Everyone immediately goes, Trump's been cutting staff. This is Trump's fault. Look at Trump. He cut this staff. It's obviously Trump's fault. Trump comes out immediately and he's like, it's DEI, more like DIE. They want you to die, people. They're hiring blacks. They're hiring retards. That's what he said. He literally said, he published something that was like, the Biden administration told the FAA, you have to hire the mentally handicapped. And I believe as time went on, they looked into it, and it appears that what actually happened is someone left their post early. So you had one person doing the work of two people. So it could be, that could have just been a fluke. It could have been due to staffing cuts. I think they're still figuring it out, but everyone just jumped to their own thing. My simple question for Donald Trump is, hey, if you realize that the FAA is staffed by the mentally handicapped, why would you want less of them? Doesn't it stand to reason that you might need a few more to do the job right? You don't want to start thinning the herd if you think the herd is already thin, brother. Think about it. I know that it'll be like, no, he wants to get it out, hire new people, whatever. I think this is my hot take, crazy take, wild take. What I would be interested in is if we as a society, if when horrible, very sad, tragic things happened, maybe instead of just popping right up with a take, maybe we just kind of wait and see what actually caused it and then move from there so that we don't end up taking, so that people who have nothing to do with it don't end up taking strays that also have nothing to do with it. Because obviously your people are going to listen to you and no one else because no one trusts anybody anymore. And aren't things going well? Aren't things going great? It has created some funny commentary because everyone has decided that nothing means anything and no one should trust anyone. People are revisiting things that we've already known. This is your flat earth type conspiracy, things like this. Now, we had an MMA fighter who had a very fresh take. His take, I believe, was on a man known as Adolf Hitler. And we have discussed Hitler on this program in relation to his fan base in Pakistan. But we didn't know he had a fan base within the UFC until this fighter went on his podcast and addressed it. Let's listen to, I don't know how much we can play here, but let's listen to a brief clip of what Bryce Mitchell had to say about a politician that he thinks might be a little misunderstood. Now, again, this is interesting because what he's saying here is, look, I did my own research. I don't trust the indoctrination that is coming down the pipe at these fucking schools. I don't trust that. I don't want it. I did my own research. I came to a different conclusion. Let's hear what he had to say.
that Hitler was a good guy based upon my own research, not my public education indoctrination. I really do think before Hitler got on meth, he was a guy to go fishing with. He fought for his country. He wanted to purify it by kicking the greedy Jews out that were destroying his country and turning them all into gays. They were queering out the women. They were queering out the dudes. You know the books that everybody makes fun of Hitler burning? You know what the books was? Queer books. Hitler burned queer books because Hitler didn't want a bunch of queers destroying his nation. They can't produce children. When he got on meth and he turned on Russia, I believe that's when he kind of went full nutty. And I don't think that he was just like the best dude ever. And when I say I go fishing with him, I'm not saying he was the most trustworthy dude or I'd love him or whatever, but at some point in Hitler...
So a lot to say about that one. You know, I think it might be best. I was on the road in Minneapolis, and I decided I would talk about this on stage, and I could discuss it here, but it might be interesting to hear me try to navigate it and make it funny on stage. So let's just go ahead and play my reaction to that right now.
Did you see that MMA fighter defend Hitler? Did y'all see that? Yeah, the woo was for knowing, right? Yeah, the woo was for knowing. Okay. I just want to clarify the woo. She was like, finally someone who speaks for us! Elon, send your heart out. Dude literally went on his podcast and was like, I've done my own fucking research. Turns out, Hitler's pretty tight. Now, it's a crazy take. It's a crazy take. But usually people defend it by being like, it turns out he was all about workers' rights. He wanted to give people health care. And he was like, yeah, I educated myself. It turns out he just wanted to save his country from the greedy Jews, the gays, and the trans people. I was like, no, yeah, that's the information we're all working off of. Actually, like, I feel like you got it. I don't know how you ended at this conclusion. I think this is why athletes shouldn't have podcasts. Not because athletes are dumb, but they're working out all the time. They feel too good. They're too confident, dude. He's just going to approach a mic and be like, I got something to say. I'm locked in, dude. This is why nerds are in academia. You want someone who feels like shit about their body and themselves. So they actually question the first thought that comes into their mind. It's a scientific method. That's how it's supposed to be. You're supposed to think something and be like, I'm a fucking idiot. There's no way that's right. And then read about it more. A second time, not just once. This guy had too many endorphins. He's like, I got a fucking good one, dude. Like, And he was just like, he's like, I think Hitler would have been cool to go fishing with. And that may be true, but here's where I agree with him. Because I wish that Hitler would have gotten to be able to go fishing with this mid-range, kind of shitty MMA fighter who's also very bad at podcasting. So he could have looked across the boat and rethought his own position about whites being supreme.
So there you go. I mean, I don't really know what else to add to this particular situation. I just think we are going to see more of it. Maybe not at this exact level, but there is a certain building groundswell of people who have objectively stupid opinions that think the fact that most people disagree with them is proof of how correct they are, because so many people are stupid, dumb sheep. This doesn't mean that there aren't cases where this does become true, but I think things like this are going to get weirder and weirder. And I can tell you, because this was the second time I'd seen someone try to defend Hitler within my week. I was hanging out with a friend of a friend, and I was told this friend likes to get things going, for lack of a better term, has some interesting takes, some hot takes, some interesting discussion points. And he led with that. And he was just kind of like, dude, you got to listen to some of Hitler's speeches. Not that bad. Now, this is a fascinating take to me because, again, it's self-congratulatory and self-masturbatory. The concept is like, dude, he had some interesting things to say. No shit, he was a popular speaker. When you speak, you get to portray yourself in whatever way you want. He did have some good ideas. However, when you have an idea that's very, very bad, that ends up being the most important idea that you have, especially considering the magnitude of why do I even feel the need to spend time proving that Hitler was not great? Because I think this sort of thing is going to get a little more popular. Dana White decides not to suspend him and says, hey, the great thing about the UFC is you get to watch him get punched in the face live, and I think he's an idiot. So that's one way to handle it, and I would agree with his statements there. But you know what? We don't need to do all of that. We don't have to spend too much time on that, because if we want to talk sports, there's an event happening soon. I don't know if you guys have heard of this one. It is called the Super Bowl. Are you allowed to say that? Every brand has to say it's big game. The big game is coming up. Looking forward to some big game snacks. Have our big chips for the big game. So, yeah, look, there's a lot to cover with the Super Bowl here. I want to talk Justin Tucker. I want to talk about an interesting thing that's happening here in New Orleans. But I think the best thing to start off here is we do have people who've been a fan for a while know that I have a character I like to do, a guy who cannot miss, a guy who knows a thing or two about betting, and I've put together some odds here for the Super Bowl. Let's go ahead and just watch that now. Online gambling has filled my life with problems. Problems like, where the fuck am I going to store all this cash? I identify as a hotel chain because I'm fake nice, a little gay, and go by the W. You want to get rich quick? Read my book. It's called Stop Reading and Fucking Bet. Here are my picks for Super Bowl Sunday. I made these picks by watching a tape of a Mahomes assault from above. Spoiler alert, it was Jackson. People consider the Gatorade bath and coin toss to just be lucky guesses. Well, I love getting lucky in a bath, whether it's my head or my tail. We're back in Trump's America, so I'm expecting to see a big orange head. Gatorade, orange, toss, heads. Speaking of dudes being wet, between Chris Jones and Nick Sirianni, we've got more water headed our way than a commercial airliner. Kendrick is doing this year's halftime show, which is going to ruin Drake's buzz from seeing 17 verse 14 on the scoreboard and thinking it's a new reality show. His first song will be humble, he will bring out Future, and it's going to be awkward singing Pedophile in front of your fun uncle. Speaking of scoring too early, I've got Saquon or Travis Kelce to score the first touchdown, a little bit on Saquon to do it, and a little bit on Dallas Goedert to catch a pass on the Eagles' first drive. Call me an American settler because I find the Chiefs' attacks scary but unpredictable. I'm staying away from their anytime touchdowns, but I have anytime touchdowns for both Saquon and Jalen Hurts, but the Chiefs to cover 1.5 in the end. And if you really like to party, I've got Mahomes, Kelce, and Saquon to win the Triple Crown, passing, receiving, rushing at plus 650. This is the Super Bowl of people I've seen too much of. Swift, the Mahomes, the Kelces. It's days like this I understand why Stevie Wonder pretends to be blind. But do what he only does in private and look on the bright side, folks. There's always next year. Lock the bets! Well, thank you for that beautiful segment of Can't Miss Picks. Now, that is a little excerpt from the show I've been doing over at TMG Studios, Joey Avery's Football Party. We did a little 4-episode mini run discussing the playoffs. All those are now live, or the final one will be on Friday over at TMG Studios website, so check that out. But Super Bowl Sunday, where you at? Where are you at with this one? A lot of people are like, I don't fucking care about these teams. I want neither of them to win. I understand that vibe, but we watch nonetheless. This is part of America. It's New Orleans. I feel like New Orleans is a great place for the Super Bowl to be because without a doubt, someone's getting arrested. No law is almost too much fun. And I feel like that's a Super Bowl tradition, is like some major media figure will end up with a prostitute, and that's just part of life. There is an intersection, as we know, between football and sex, and it becomes ever more present every year. Yes, we're looking at you, Justin Fucker. Justin Tugger. Justin goddamn Tucker. Now, he's denying the allegations. If you're unaware of this, Justin Tucker, traditionally one of the greatest kickers in all of the NFL, had a bit of a down year this year, and maybe it's because he wasn't getting up. Apparently, an open secret, he has been banned from multiple massage parlors in the Baltimore area, and this just brings up a really interesting question, a tale that's as old as time, a question we haven't really been able to figure out the answer to, which is, if you are a player who is a sexual deviant, will you be better until you finally get away with it? Survey says yes. I mean, think about how great Deshaun Watson was before we knew who he was. Think about how great Tiger Woods was before we knew who he was. Think about how great Justin Tucker was until this year, when he must have realized this story was going to come out. No pun intended. You got to think about this. You have to, because I think that a lot of the great athletes in the world are people who have really focused on making their life as optimized as can be. Someone, you look at a Tom Brady, a Patrick Mahomes, people that, well, Tom did a little bit of cheating there, but Patrick Mahomes is hanging in there with a kind of an annoying chick, I think. And I think what he is able to do is have a sturdy foundation that he's built his life off of. So I don't want to sit here and pretend like all athletes are dogs. It's simply not true. But a lot of them are. A lot of them are. And some of the great ones, I think, did some of their best work while doing some of their naughtiest things. And I gotta think about what that is, and I think that there's just a little era of invincibility. They don't doubt themselves. Tiger doesn't go, why can't I make this putt? He goes, I'm Tiger Woods. That putt's going in. That's the same way he approached the lady at that fucking diner. Carver's or whatever the fuck, Carvel's. What was the diner? Doesn't really matter. Basically a Denny's waitress. He didn't say, hey, I shouldn't do that. He said, hey, I'm Tiger Woods. It's going in. Justin Tucker was like, yeah, he's an opera singer. Everyone in Baltimore loves him. He's on opera singing. He's a good Christian man. He's getting a little bricked at the massage parlor, allegedly. We don't know if it's true. Several masseuses said that he would, he'd take the towel off and shimmy his wobbling erect dong in their direction, and when they went to clean up the sheets there, he'd had a little just a little, and that's not great. These are professionals thinking they're working with a professional, and then no one condones this behavior, but there's something to that mindset of invincibility that I think helps these guys until it all comes crashing down. I got to think, what is Justin Tucker thinking now? I think that this story would be interesting no matter what. But the fact that it's a great, yes, and the fact that it's a kicker, yes. When you find out a kicker has been doing sexually explicit things, not right, not nice to those ladies, but it's kind of like when we found out that Stephen Hawking was found at Epstein's Island. You went, that's bad, but I'm a little proud of you. And I feel like that's where we're at with Justin Tucker. Now, hey, I wish for his sake that this isn't true, but often when there's smoke, there is fire. And it's a good thing the Ravens didn't make it to the Super Bowl. Otherwise, this dude would be coming his way through Bourbon Street. Now, speaking of the Saints, it has been a big week in terms of sex and football. A report came out that the Saints were helping with communications for the Catholic Church when the Catholic Church was covering up for some old pedophile, covering up for some of that, and that's not good. And you're not supposed to do that. And why is the football team doing that? And a lot of victims who are fans of the football team had similar questions. Now, I think it's wrong, but I also think it's not surprising. I think we know that centers of power in each town kind of get together and do the things that they do. And New Orleans, it's a weird place. And the team is called the Saints. It's an interesting mascot. So there's a lot going on. They're denying wrongdoing, saying it was just a back and forth. I don't know. It all feels gross and yucky. And I think that happens a lot during the lead up to the Super Bowl because you just have 2 weeks of people talking about it. And that's unnatural. It's not good. And these stories just make you go, gross. And so does the Super Bowl. I'm not that excited for it. I'll be honest with you. That's okay. It's okay. It'll happen. It'll move. It'll go by. Hopefully everyone is safe. I saw it's in very American news. It seems that coolers will not be allowed on Bourbon Street, but you still can bring a gun. The attacker from previous in New Orleans apparently had some coolers full of explosives, so we don't want that. But the thought was, yes, guns, no coolers. America, enjoy Bourbon Street. Be safe out there. Have fun. Fuck no law's a good time. All right, folks, come on out and see me on tour, joeyavery.com/live. Tons of new shows coming up. We've got more that are going to be announced here soon, but later this month we have Calgary, we have Irvine, we go to Eugene right after that. So a little Alberta, a little West Coast. We've also got Providence, Rhode Island up there. We've got Maine coming through, so a little East Coast, all sorts of shit. Check it out, joeyavery.com/live. Reminder, if you're on YouTube, check out the new YouTube channel. Also, merch. We got the hats behind me. Link for everything is in the description. Let's get back to the show. As long as we're talking about sports, this whole Luka Doncic thing has been fucking crazy. I'm like, was he getting tugged off at a massage parlor? We don't have to do, I'm sure many of you, if you're into sports, you've listened to hours of content on this. If you're not, you've still picked it up. It's one of the sports stories that's so big. You see major meme creators creating, comedy memes about it, doing skits, whatever. Everyone is talking about this. The Dallas Mavericks traded 25-year-old superstar to the Lakers for an aging Anthony Davis. I mean, it's interesting. The poor fucks in Dallas, dude. They can't catch a break. I'm going to read something here. I read this on the football show, too, because it's so illuminating how sad a state of affairs is going on in Dallas. I text Akash Singh, who's a known Dallas sports fan. I knew he was a Cowboys fan or a former one who's given up. And I just asked him a simple question. I said, hey, man, are you a Mavs fan? One question. Just wanted to check in, see where the vibe was. I said, hey, are you a Mavs fan? He said, buddy, I don't know if I'm a fan of anything anymore. Between the Cowboys and now this, I swear to God, I'm having like an existential crisis. Why do I dedicate so much energy and time to sports when they're just going to ruin everything? I am truly broken, and the Eagles are probably going to win the Super Bowl next week, and I don't even fucking care. Mavs fans are in shambles. They're bringing out coffins to the stadium for Luka doing I'll See You Again, the Wiz Khalifa song. This is tough stuff. They had a generational superstar they were excited about, and he got traded for reasons that don't make sense. And this is when sports get fun when you're not involved, because now we have conspiracies. There's a big conspiracy surrounding the owners, which are a casino family, and how they initially, their main plan to make money was to make a big Dallas casino, make the Mavs Stadium the center of all of it, have this big gaming thing. But since that might not pass, this puts more pressure on Texas to pass it to keep them there, because if the team and the fans start bleeding from Dallas, the NBA will then let them move to Las Vegas so they can actually do the gambling thing. So it pushes the Texas legislature in the right direction. And also by giving Luka to the Lakers, the NBA is going to be more amenable to them and blah, blah, blah. And none of it, when I really think about it, actually makes sense. I think they just had a different basketball opinion than everyone else. But fuck, is it fun to watch. It's fun to watch. It's just when something comes out and it doesn't totally make sense, everyone collectively loses their mind together. And that's when sports media comes in and gets fun and interesting, because everyone can have a take and everyone can have a little party. And now everyone's like, is Luka fat? Is he fat? They're like, is he 270? I saw him recently. He didn't look that fat to me. He's going to LA. He's going to get on the Zempi. He's going to Zemp up, dude. He's going to be on the kale shakes. He's going to be tan. He's going to be fucking hot. He's going to be hot. Now he's a superstar. He's a Laker. I saw something that was the Doncic 77 jersey, and it said this is about to go triple platinum at frat houses. Yeah, it's going to be a thing. White Boy Summer is back. Fuck, I feel bad, though. I didn't want this. I like Clay. I wanted Clay to get to play with them. But hey, I'm not the GM of the Mavs. Maybe he will go get on Ozempic. This Ozempic thing is one of those where I would just encourage everybody to go ahead and let this one play out. If you are morbidly obese, shout out to you. Thanks for listening to the pod. If you are morbidly obese and you need to get on Ozempic to save your life, then it's probably a good idea. I have a feeling that as the long-term effects of these things that fuck with your gut are competing with the science that your gut is an incredibly healthy indicator of your overall total body health, I have a feeling some of this may end a little weird. I'm not a doctor. Okay, and I'm not a historian like Bryce whatever the fuck from the UFC. I'm just saying I feel like shit's going to get weird. And the New York Times published an article that really made me think I'm probably right about this. Now, let's get the title of this article right, because I think it makes a difference, because this is an interesting and unique new problem, a bit of a brave new world of issues here for those on the Zemp. And again, we appreciate that people want to be hot. There's nothing wrong with wanting to be hot, wanting to be sexual. We understand this. But New York Times Magazine says how weight loss drugs can upend a marriage. Doctors warn about their physical side effects, but they can also have unexpected effects on intimacy. Well, that's not good. We wanted to take a load off the belly, not a load off your belly. What's the point of getting hot if you're not going to use it to fuck your partner? Come on, folks. It tells a really sad tale about a couple who had been together forever, and this girl starts taking the Zemp, and she doesn't want to fuck anymore. She is done smashing her sweet husband, who was willing to plow that porker for all these lovely years. And you know what's interesting? He liked it. He loved her for her. And now his heart is broken because she's all zemped up and she doesn't want his normal old cock. That's not nice. Here's a little excerpt. Javier comes across as bewildered by the changes in his wife. He is grieving, he says, the loss of the woman he married. Starting with her physical self. I used to love feeling her big fat. I'm adding, sorry. I used to love feeling her stink. No. I used to love feeling her body, her big body, next to me in bed. The softness of it. The extra tummy and the extra booty was comforting and reassuring, he says. I miss that. The voluptuousness, being able to lean up next to her and feel her, for lack of a better word, draping over me or onto me. That's no longer an option. Dude married a fat chick, and now he's got what, fucking nothing? Fucking nothing, dude. All this shit this dude has done for this country. Marrying a beautiful fat woman, loving her curves, loving her folds, loving her for who she is, loving her like Kanye loves his wife, appreciating the build, appreciating the curve, being interested in showing it off, maybe not. Maybe he was going to buy her the Kanye thing in the size whatever. He liked it. He liked the heft. He liked the weight. He liked the drape. He liked the soft. It's gone. But you know what he decided to do? He decided to fight because he loves his wife and he wants to fuck. So they went to a therapist, and the therapist said, hey, let's try this new thing. This helps couples who have lost intimacy. You start this whole process. You start with the clothes on. You do some touching, whatever. They did it once. He said, yeah, I'm finding out about you. I got a new body over here. It's almost like I'm fucking someone new. I'm almost cheating on my fat wife with my skinny wife, but I'm allowed to. What is happening right now? Well, I'll tell you what's happening. She said no. She didn't want to do that ever again because one of the things that Ozempic is allowing her to do is set boundaries. And she said, you know what? I don't want to have sex. I'm done having sex. And now they're fighting all the time. And it's for two reasons. One, he married a big fat woman and he wanted to keep fucking a big fat woman. And now that big fat woman is gone. And two, she's kind of done with it. Now, this could be a couple different things. Ozempic does taper your cravings. It changes the type of things that you're interested in. It makes it so that you have some food, you fill up quick, and you go, ugh, it kind of sounds gross to eat more. You lose some weight. It helps people stop drinking, I've heard. Sometimes you stop wanting that next thing because you go, I don't feel it. And maybe it's having an effect on sex. Or maybe she got a little too small for her britches. Maybe she's like, I'm not who the fuck you married and I'm over you and I'm going to use this drug as a means to tell you I'm done with it. Whatever it is, we don't know. We've injected a former diabetes medication into the hearts, minds, stomachs, and sex lives of millions of Americans. We have no idea what's going to happen. It is fucking with marriages. This was not the only story. It's fucked with other marriages. People are not fucking anymore. Stuff is getting a little weird out there, and we don't know the long-term consequences. And I say this to say that I still get it if you want to be fucking hot and keep it tight. I mean, come on, dude. I get it. Yes, do I think normal diet and exercise is better than injecting an experimental medication into your body to just be a little extra fucking hot? But being hot's a big deal. And you don't know what's going to happen. It's going to produce a tectonic change potentially in your life, and you don't know what you're going to fit into anymore. And that's dangerous, but it's exciting. Things change. Nothing is ever really the same. So maybe we embrace this new frontier as Americans of skinny, sexless people who don't want to have fun or consume anything anymore. What is actually going on? I've seen an uptick across the board. People are trying to cut back. I think people are getting more health conscious. I think we're worried about the processed foods that are going into our bodies. I think we're worried about the long-term effects of alcohol. I've seen some recent studies that saying even that moderate drinking, even that 1 to 2 level, people are saying maybe not that. Why do we think we're focusing on all of this now? What do you think it is? Do you think everyone's like, dude, RFK is coming, we got to lock it up? I was exposed to an interesting theory, okay, by the only employee of the show, Matt Shanowski. I usually say his name wrong, but we get it right this time. His belief, and I've been thinking about it, and I think that it might be correct, is that we have, through the advent of technology, phones, all the information that we're getting all the time, all the feelings, all the dopamine, all the TikTok, all the whatever, we have speed run dopamine cycles so much that it has caused us to reevaluate things. So I would encourage this. If you're a big old fatty and you want to get on Ozempic and hotten up, hey, do your thing. I know you don't come here for health advice, even though this would be the best place to get it. But I would say if you're feeling like you have just fucking maxed out all your dopamine receptors, there are natural ways to just kind of bring it back. Long-term, sustainable changes. I've got a million friends doing, or have done dry January, pretending like they're done with alcohol forever. They're full of shit. They're alcoholics. They will absolutely relapse, and they have not made long-term sustainable changes. Same thing with Ozempic. You can inject yourself with this fucking weird drug that's going to fuck up a lot of shit in your life, potentially. And by the way, I would do it, and I will consider it if I pack on too many pounds. Not above any of this. But I would say the first move that you should probably try is just pulling back to a little bit of moderation, checking in with yourself, wondering, do I actually want to eat that food? Do I actually want to have that drink? But allowing yourself the space to do it naturally, consistently, and over a long period of time. It's almost like instead of doing something crazy and militant for a month that makes you radically rethink your entire lifestyle and removes you from social events that are also actually a key happy indicator of good dopamine that you want to get, maybe you should just try to look at the things in your life and pull them back so much that you can enjoy them a little bit over time. You don't have to delete TikTok off your phone. You just have to look at it once or twice a day and not when you're in fucking bed. You don't have to not touch booze for an entire month. You just need to say, hey, we're only going to do that 1 or 2 days a week, and we're going to just keep it back. This is just little advice that I would give to you because I've been giving it to myself. That being said, great time in Minneapolis. Boy, did we get buckled out there, have some drinks and some fast food. So is anyone perfect? No. Okay? But much like the Mavericks and Luka Doncic, okay, and this wife to her own body, maybe we shouldn't trade away the most important partners in our life just because they got a little fat. Everyone has a chance to be a little bit better, and we will be better if we start wearing more dresses like Bianca Censori. Thank you so much for listening to the program. This has been The Joey Show. YouTube next week, new channel. Otherwise, thank you so much for listening. I hope you've enjoyed it. You have a lovely rest of your day. Good night. Thank God